Don't burn out before your breakthrough. Proverbs 20 and 21 says, an inheritance gained hastily at the beginning will not be blessed at the end. And I know that it's the human condition, right? The human condition to constantly be in the pursuit of more. The human condition to not settle for where we currently are in this space. We always want more. Especially nowadays, it's a blessing and a curse. And the blessing being the fact that we're able to see so much of other people's lives. And we're able to digest and not only see just a commercial, right? But we're able to see people's lives kind of in this highlight reel on a consistent basis. And we wonder when's going to be our time. Or we wonder, someone's having the success in the thing that I want to be successful in. When will that be for me? And we have to heed in the notion of it's not our understanding, but it's the Lord's. It's not our timing, but it's the Lord's. It's not our will, but it's the Lord's. And it can be difficult to let go of that control that we feel like we desperately need. For it feels like the only thing we have left is the control, is the pursuit, is the hustle, is the grind. But that's all it is, a perception of what control is. It's not true control, because the only one who has true control, true dominion, true power over all situations is the Creator. But the beautiful thing is, the Creator created us to create. So we have dominion and control and power over the things that we create as well. But the trust, the ability to trust that even though we don't know what we're being called to, that we have this idea for a reason. And sometimes the lack of trust isn't in Him, but it's in ourselves. And we have to realize that that's disrespectful too. Because there's a reason why He's called you. There's a reason why out of the 8 billion people on the earth, He gave you this idea. There's a reason why you keep constantly having it, and it keeps constantly going in your mind over and over again. It may even be keeping you up at night. But the problem is, you have these timelines, these deadlines, this perception of your control and what's supposed to happen in your timing. And it's causing you to burn out. It's causing you to lose hope in the situation. It's causing you to feel like maybe I heard God wrong. Maybe this isn't what He called me to do. Maybe this was my own thoughts, or maybe even a trick of the enemy to thinking I was actually capable of achieving this. But that's not true. In most cases, at least, it's not true. In most cases, the waiting game, the waiting season is God strengthening and preparing your faith for the thing that He has planned for you. Sometimes we have to go through pain, and your pain has promise. Your pain has purpose, and it's preparing you for God's plan. But without going through that, without enduring, without learning how to be patient, because it says that patience is a virtue, without understanding that process and without trusting that process, you can never be truly prepared for the stages that God is ready for you to take. You won't be ready. Although He is giving you the gift, and the gift will make room for you and put you in front of great men. If you skip any of the steps to get to that stage, although your gift may be there, you personally won't be able to keep yourself in there. And it's understanding too, that as we go through life, that we're not going through it alone. For we serve a God who will never leave us nor forsake us. And you have to understand that if He has given you these ideas, and He has also supplied you with the gifts, don't you think he's also going to help you achieve the outcome? For it is a reason why he's entrusted you with them in the first place, because he knows that through his help, right? Because all things through Christ are possible. He knows that through his help, you'll actually be able to steward them wisely. But that doubt, yeah, I know, it seeps in. And it's truly, truly difficult to overcome. But you're hearing in your mind constantly. It is because doubt is found in the eyes, but faith is found in the ears. And it's remembering to listen and to heed what God has already said, what God has promised. Although things don't look like the way you want them to, we have to walk by faith and not by sight, because our eyes will deceive us for what is going to come. Because although it may not be there yet, although it may tarry, it shall come, and when it comes, it won't tarry. Right? In Habakkuk, it says that. And so we have to remember what God has already said. Because if we choose to forget it, or if we don't know what he says, and we don't know his promises, then how can we know for sure that any of this is going to happen? How can we know for sure? How can we have faith? How can we have faith if we don't even know what he's promised? And we have to remember that it's an inheritance, meaning that it doesn't just come immediately. Although it may be your birthright, it doesn't mean that you'll have access to it just at a whim. It means that there's a process that has to take place. And it's for us to trust in that process. Because if we gain it too hastily, it won't be blessed in the end. In other words, a blessing too soon isn't a blessing at all. And I find in the moments where I feel like I'm going through or experiencing burnout, that I have to remember why. Why did I start this in the first place? Why did God call me to this? Why me? Why now? Sometimes it can be hard to remember, especially when you've been going for so long. Especially when sometimes the reason why you started in the first place has seemed to fade, or the same passion and urgency and love for it may start to wilt away. And it's not as easy as it used to be. And that the narrow path is a more difficult one to take. But to all those who decide to pursue it, that the end of it is where we find our true inheritance, our true blessings in that path of righteousness. And we shall receive everything tenfold. Life is exactly what it's meant to be, exactly what you believe it to be. In life, there's always two wolves. One is despair, doubt, uncertainty, anxiety, and the other one is life, hope, faith, and promise. Which one wins? Well, the one that wins is the one that you feed. The man who believes that he can't and the man who believes that he can are both right. So as a man thinketh, so he is. So if you really believe and you're walking in faith and not by sight, and you truly have hope, holding on to God's promises every day, then there's nothing that you cannot do. There's nothing that God will withhold from you. The only one who stands in your way is the person who looks back at you in the mirror. It's you versus you. And as humans, we have to understand that our greatest enemy is our inner me. Because you can have all of the gifts and all of the talents and everything that God could place into you. He can, and he has, and you are enough. And he has placed everything that you need already within you. So it's nothing that you are without. But if you don't believe that, if you feel like there's more that you have to go find, if you feel like there's more that you have to go seek, if you feel like there's more that you don't have already within you, then you're always going to be left empty. then you're always going to be left unfulfilled. Then you're always going to be left searching in all of the wrong places. And I say that to not discourage you from wanting more for your lives, because trust me, I do not want you to settle for anything less than what God has already promised you. And I truly do believe that your pursuit for more is promising. But please don't let your lust for wanting what the world can offer blind you to what God has already blessed you with. In Mark chapter 8, verse 36 says, "For what will it profit a man if he gains the whole world and loses his own soul?" And trust me, I understand what it's like to want more. I understand what it's like to be in this constant pursuit of what the world has told us we should be striving for. But don't let it blind you, and don't let it burn you out, because God has so much for you on the other side. And trust me, I know that you may feel like you're going through a breakdown, but sometimes we have to. Sometimes God has to break us down, has to humble us, and just understand that there's purpose in it. It's purpose in your breakdown so that God can lead you to your breakthrough.